All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS live stream. We have a pretty interesting slate today with a lot of key players kind of injured, either sitting or still questionable. We got a lot of Pacers news that we'll kind of start the video off with. And we also have Chuck that's a little bit under the weather. So we'll see how that ends up going. We got a flu game here going for you.
Yeah, my head was already pounding before this Bills-Broncos game started. And then, have you seen the people that scored touchdowns today?
I saw the Bills. Who scored for the Bills? I saw the Denver touchdown.
Mecole Hardman, right?
Oh, he did. That's right. Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? At least no one played him in DFS.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Need a Harvey touchdown. I would appreciate that, honestly. But
for my best ball teams, that would be awesome.
We got let's see here. It's late GM night. Yeah, we'll see how the Lakers end up doing. How are you feeling about them tonight? Anyways, Chuck.
Well, we're playing Portland. It's a pretty good matchup. LeBron James is showing up in a good chunk of my lineup, so hopefully he does pretty well. Him and Pacers are pretty much dominating the top of my exposures right now.
Yeah, it'll be he should go off. I was looking at his per 36 production with Luka and Reeves off the court. It's like 55 fantasy points. It's just like, geez, that's crazy.
Yeah, it should be a good one.
Here, we'll jump into the opening game here. What is it? Boston versus Atlanta. We'll start with that one, kind of ease ourselves into the slate, and then we'll jump into the Pacers. So Boston, I do actually think it is kind of an interesting spot because Peyton Pritchard is out. We already know that. And so really, I think Anthony Simons becomes a pretty interesting click. And I'm pretty happy to see that the OF model is also telling us that he's going to be a pretty good DK value and FanDuel value. The issue is he is actually kind of chalky on the slate. And this is a slate where we could be getting some pretty late value as well. So although he is like a pretty fine play, I do kind of like the idea of leaving some spots open, especially when we have a chalky play like this with Simons. But he's a pretty good play. We also have Derek White, who's he's been very hit or miss, and I'm actually really surprised at the ownership on DraftKings compared to FanDuel. He's someone I really don't mind chasing the upside. He's been a little bit lackluster lately. And then Kada. I feel like Kada's at a cheap price tag to the point where we could get to him. The player that I'm kind of fascinated that's kind of popping up as a good DK value is Jordan Walsh. Not getting any ownership, about 22 minutes for him, and we have multiple position eligibility on FanDuel and DraftKings. On DraftKings coming at 3% and 3.2. What are your thoughts here with Boston?
I was getting a bunch of like Jaylen Brown and Derek White on my first run, a lot of Anthony Simons, but like you said, I kind of don't want to lock up that many roster spots in the first game. Like they are all good plays. But just looking at the model, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe getting away from Jaylen Brown a little bit, given his value score is a little bit lower. Derek White looks great. Peta looks great as a GPP play. Like Simons is a value play. I'm curious what his ownership would be like if he didn't just have that huge game he had.
I know.
But either way, he's projected for almost 30 minutes with Pritchard out, so he's fine, if not like slightly overowned maybe. And I like that Jordan Walsh call. Like the model's not really identifying him as much of anything on FanDuel, but 3,200 on DraftKings, and we know him as a player who has kind of stepped up in the past, not with Pritchard out, with Jaylen Brown out, but maybe he gets a couple extra minutes. It's worth some shots at 3,200 and 3%.
And I will say the model has been pretty darn good at hitting these low-owned DK values when they're just too cheap and kind of easy plays at their low ownership. And maybe the argument would be that a play like this is actually due to not have a good day because literally they've been hitting I think if I had to put a number on it, I'd probably say 13 out of the past 15 have probably hit and exceeded value and have been decent leverage plays thus far this year. So that's the only argument against it, is that would maybe do for a bad performance there. But it is a close game and decently high scoring game. So I don't mind that call out. And then we also need to jump on into Atlanta. We did just get news. Well, not just get news, but Dyson Daniels was added on to the injury report. He is listed as questionable. So that could make Atlanta a little bit interesting there because I think Na would become a little bit more interesting there. Jalen Johnson and Anyika are both somewhat in play to me on this slate just due to the fact that Porzingis and Rice are still out. Gaye is a little bit interesting, but also not someone that the model likes, so probably no need to get to him. And then McCollum, I don't know, would he get more run if Daniels were out, or would it be Vic and Luke Kennard that were benefiting the most?
Well, I'm looking at the rotation from the last game. CJ already played 29 minutes. If he's
Hmm.
coming off the bench, maybe he could get a minute or two more than that. I mean, we have him for 27, so I think that's already pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
he's been good, right? Through 2 games. I mean, he's been pretty good for Atlanta.
yeah, they needed that guy who can just kind of come in off the bench since Na's starting now. I'd be interested in Na. It's really interesting. For some reason, Jalen Johnson's had 3 bad games in a row,
I
and
know.
people are going to equate that with Jalen Johnson with CJ McCollum on the team is bad now, but it's too small of a sample size. So I will say the model isn't that into Jalen Johnson today. Like his OF score is good, but for value,
Yeah.
it's only okay. But at 10 and 8%, he's still right near 10K. I think it's worth taking some shots, but I'm not on him today like I have been on basically every other Jalen Johnson slate this year. But if Dyson's out, Nas probably one of the better
Mm.
plays. And then if CJ starts, I guess we'll bump him too.
And it does look like we just got confirmation that Daniels is going to be out tonight. So that does make it a little bit more interesting. So probably nah. And then what about these two? So we got Vic and also Luke Kennard. I haven't taken a look yet at like who benefits the most with Daniels off the court usage wise, and it is tough because obviously we do have CJ McCollum there. I would kind of assume that CJ McCollum is just picking up a decent amount of the usage with Daniels off the court, but in terms of who would be between Luke Kennard and Vit, it would be Craig J. He's the one that benefits a little bit more. 21% usage rate. Luke Kennard, 14%. And CJ McCollums goes up to 37%. And Na is actually at 31% as well. So seemingly CJ McCollum becomes a very good play now.
Yeah, he probably is going to jump in value a little bit. And then I'm curious to see what Vit Krejci's projected minutes come in for us.
Mhm.
We're at 22 right now. I don't think that it should jump to like 28 or anything. So if
Mhm.
it jumps that high, I would be a little bit careful. But watch the model update in a few minutes and we'll see.
And I think he's a little bit more appealing on FanDuel where you get the small forward and shooting guard eligibility. Again, if it does jump up like you're mentioning there. We'll jump on into the next game here. We'll do Pacers versus Detroit, and then we'll handle some of that news that just broke here with Hart and Brunson. So that's interesting for New York, but we'll give that time. Yeah, we'll jump into the Pacers. So a lot of the Pacers are going to be out in tonight's game here. Let me pull them up first, and then I'll read who's out. So yeah, looking at it, we have Matherin still out, McConnell out, Nembhard out, Naismith out, Siakam out, Toppin is out as well. And then also one of the probably better plays, Isaiah Jackson, is also questionable as well. And I say that because I think he could end up in more minutes than what he's projected to get out of necessity, although the Pacers have really been spreading out the minutes as well. So who honestly knows? Is there any play that we can trust here? I mean, I know Jackson and Walker are really popping up. Furphy should be chalk. Shepard should be chalk. But like, is there any player here that we can like trust to break the slate, or are these all just plays that are like too cheap that we want to be getting some exposure to because they should be able to 6x, maybe they're not going to 8x or anything like that?
I'll say these at least Quentin Jackson, Jarris Walker, and maybe Jay Huff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of these guys is probably going to have a really good game and be the best
Fair.
play on the slate, right? Maybe two of them. Throw Johnny
Mm-hmm.
Furphy in there. I'm personally probably just going to play all of Jarris Walker and Quentin Jackson. They probably just have to stay on the court. I would be a little bit iffier on Johnny Furphy, and then I'd be a little careful with Jay Huff on FanDuel since we only get one center. He put up, what,
Mm-hmm.
50 yesterday or something. He's probably not going to put up 50 again. I mean, look at the difference in his value score from him to the top guys. And so I'm going to go pretty heavy on Quentin Jackson, Jarris Walker. I'm going to mix in Furphy and Huff, and then I don't know. I'm gonna get to some Ben Shepherd just in case, but I don't have too much interest in the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. What about okay? So not Cam Jones at all. He has a pretty massive bump. It's a very small sample size, but he's a massive bump in his usage rate with the 2 point guards off the court, TJ McConnell and Andrew Nembhard. And
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm seeing him at min price,
Okay.
and I could like he'd need to get the minutes. Obviously, he would need to get
Yeah.
more minutes than what we haven't projected to get. But that's kind of my point with the Pacers. It's like I don't. I'm not saying the minutes projections are wrong. They're probably right, but I think this is a spot where they have a greater chance of being wrong. And maybe that's a decent way to gain leverage on the field is by getting a little bit different and maybe being overweight on someone like Jackson and maybe even Jones. I don't I could be just going a little too crazy there. What are your thoughts?
Well, I got a little Jones. What I'm interested in is how are we gonna set up our rules for this?
That's true.
You know, even putting max one of Cam Jones and Quentin Jackson to me doesn't really make sense, even though they're like the
Mhm.
same position. They could share the court. They're shorthanded. We haven't seen this situation before, so we really don't know how Carlisle's going to
Yeah.
run the rotations. I think I would just put a blanket max four. I guess they're so cheap that
Yeah.
four of them could work in a lineup for sure.
And I would almost say, like, if you could, I would say like min 2.5. Like, you definitely want two, but maybe you want to get to three, but max four like that. I think that ends up being a decent route to go. But um, it is. I mean, you definitely have to be playing some players here. I just think it's more of a guessing. Like, Walker should be safe. Jackson should be safe. And I actually
I
like
don't think.
Furphy probably the most, but
Yeah,
Furphy, does Furphy have the upside, I guess, is the question. I think he's the safest, but I don't, does he have the upside to really break the slate?
I don't think any of them are necessarily safe because it would be really easy to see any of these guys fail today, right? We wouldn't be surprised if
Yes.
any one of them didn't get there. We'd be a little surprised if they put up like 40 plus. But
Yes.
you know, their ownership's what, 70, 60, 25 for J Huff. It's like it's
Yeah.
a lot of ownership. We're gonna have some other plays on the slate. This is an early game. Maybe we get some value later. So I mentioned I'm playing a ton of them, but I do want to make sure I save spots for later.
It is sorry to just spend this much time on the Pacers, but is Jay Huff just this high owned because of his projected minutes? Because we have seen Potter get a decent amount of run occasionally. This seems like a spot where 15.5 point spread, Potter could get more run, and obviously Walker's there. Um, Heck, maybe even Tony Bradley gets a little bit more run. I don't know. I just feel like I know it's a cheap price, but I feel like that's too high of an ownership for Jay Huff.
At the 32 and 25. I'm around the field, and so I probably think it's actually appropriate. If it was any
Okay.
higher though, then it might be too high. But like you made a good point though, it's kind of a fragile projection. Like it is J Huff. Go look at the game logs. He hasn't been fantastic as of late. He had a blow up game last time. Yeah, I know
Mhm.
everyone else on the team is out, but he's not the type of player that Rick Carlisle is going to go to him before the game and say, "All right, we need you to take over tonight. This is your time." So he's a
Exactly.
good
It's Cam
play.
Jones.
Yeah, there you go. It's more likely one of the guards though than J
Yeah.
Huff.
Exactly, exactly. And then we did get some people kind of mentioning just some of the Detroit plays, and everyone's healthy. So I was actually wondering if Cade Cunningham or Thompson would sit, even though they're probable, just due to kind of the point spread of 15.5 points. And what's actually crazy is this didn't really change that much, the point spread, even with Siakam and McConnell and Nembar being ruled out. So kind of interesting. Their game total went down a little bit. But this should seemingly be a pretty easy matchup for a lot of Detroit, and no one is like extreme chalk. Duran's 10 or 11%, sorry, and Cade's 12%. Everyone else is a nothing burger. Any love for anyone else besides Cade Cunningham or Duran, or do you like Duran and Cunningham at all?
I like Cunningham a lot. I have interest in Duran. It just center position. We only get one. It's tough, but he is only 7% owned on FanDuel, so I'll take some
Mm,
shots on him. Outside of those two, I got 2% Tobias Harris, and that's all of my exposure from this team.
okay. We'll jump on into the next game then here. So we got New York versus Phoenix, and I haven't seen it yet with Brunson and Hart being out, but they're both questionable. Have you seen confirmation
They're
on that
out.
just yet? They
I
are?
think
Okay.
I think. Well, let me just double check. We did just get it. Yeah, they both got ruled out 8 minutes
All right.
ago.
Let me just refresh to see if it's updated yet as well. Probably not, but we'll see.
I need a
Normally,
rerun.
yeah, I know we're going to be doing that a lot on this one, I think. Okay, so
It
they are out of this. So right now, no one's too jockey. It's still adjusting there. But yeah, someone mentioned that Cat is basically a must play now. I kind of agree. He's probably too cheap now. He benefits a ton. His usage goes up a ton. After that, though, I do like Mikal Bridges. OG is definitely in play. Miles McBride. I wish he was a little bit cheaper. He's certainly in play. And then I mean, what do we do with the guards? Is it Jordan Clarkson? Is that a decent pivot? I honestly don't know what to do with kind of the backups.
Yeah, with well, the model has a huge preference for McBride over Clarkson right now, but the model has McBride for 36 minutes. Like these minutes are still adjusting, so
Hmm.
if you guys are at home playing with the model, don't pay attention to these value scores yet. They're for sure wrong, and we need the ownership to update. But
Yeah.
depending on what the difference in ownership is, um, like I think we're probably still gonna have a preference for Miles McBride either way, but we want to
Yeah.
mix in Clarkson. I could see mixing in some Landry Shamet. Like maybe he actually pulls the start today, unless they start Mitchell Robinson. They've done that a couple times. But I agree with you on Cat. I don't think he's a must play, but he's probably going to end up being one of the top plays on the slate.
Yeah, the thing with Cat is I honestly like in terms of payups, and I don't even know if you consider him a payup, but he's like the one I feel the most comfortable getting to, which honestly sounds weird to say, but like he should be able to at least go for 40 plus. And like in regards to some of the ones that we already talked about, like Cade Cunningham, like sure he should be able to really have a good game, but what's the ceiling on a 15.5 point spread? Like Jaylen Brown, Derek White, they should be able to have a great game as well. And then you look at Jalen Johnson, like, sure, I like them, but in terms of like both the floor and ceiling, I think Cat gives us that. And so I kind of like into him in that regard more.
I like it, yeah, and I'm pretty okay pairing him with McHale or OG. I think you mentioned you had a preference for McHale slightly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just he should get more shot attempts. It is basically a toss up here, but I'm just kind of fine getting to him. The minute, I mean, it is a toss, but yeah, I definitely prefer, not definitely, I slightly prefer Bridges over OG.
Yeah, unless it's something like Bridges is way more owned than OG. I think I prefer McHale too, but model's still crunching numbers. Now it has OG above McHale.
Is
As
that okay?
Mitchell Robinson is one of the top plays of the day too. If he's starting, he's probably fine to take shots on. His price is right. If he's not starting, he's probably still okay to take shots on. Harder on FanDuel.
I kind of think the starting lineup would be McBride, Shamit, Bridges, OG, and Towns, but
That makes sense to me.
yeah, and we can kind of jump into the matchup here with Phoenix. I don't know if that kind of benefits Phoenix at all. Like it makes the game more appealing now that Brunson and Hart are out, but we still have Devin Booker who's questionable here. And so I don't know if we can make any decisions on Phoenix just yet with the Devin Booker news still out there. Like if he plays, I don't mind him. I actually think he's more in play now with Hart and Brunson being out. But if he sits, I honestly want him to play because we already have too much value. Like to me, Jordan Goodwin would be very interesting. Grayson Allen would be very interesting. Just every other play for Phoenix would become better if Booker were to sit. But if Booker plays, I kind of just only like Booker then.
Yeah, with Booker in, I'm getting very little exposure to this team. I'll mention like Dylan Brooks and Mark Williams are probably pretty okay to take GPP shots on. I have a couple percentage of each of them. If Devin Booker's out, then yeah, we're probably going to be bumping up guys like Gillespie, Brooks, Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, probably Jordan Goodwin too. So we'll get a little bit more of this game if that ends up happening. But if Booker's in, my interest here is pretty minimal.
Yeah, I will say I've been surprised at kind of the lack of love of Jordan Goodwin. Really just last night, I think it was where Booker was out and he kind of went off. And it just Vegas didn't like him. Minutes weren't there projection wise. And I kind of think that just could just be a spot where just industry wide, they're still wrong. At the same time, it makes sense. Like you have a bunch of other guards that are going to get run as well. So it's not foolproof by any means.
Um, Off topic, did you see who scored the touchdown for the Broncos right before halftime?
I saw the name. I didn't see the play because I was getting ready for this. But
It's our Occupy guy, dude. Lil Jordan Humphrey. This guy wins people tournaments here. And then they got a field goal right after because Buffalo fumbled. Well,
did they get a field goal? Oh, geez, that's 2 fumbles for Buffalo.
it's terrible. Well, go Broncos, right?
For like the last 6 years, I've been saying Packers Bills Super Bowl, and at every point of the last 6 years, it's felt like a good call at some point. Like, oh yeah, these are clearly two of the best teams. Like this could hit, and then you just watch them in the playoffs, and it's just the most infuriating way. The way they continuously both teams beat themselves, and it's just like, what are you doing, James Cook? Why are you fumbling? Like, come on, like they need you.
Yeah.
Just a little frustrated there.
Josh Allen could still go superhero mode in the second half, though.
I mean, he already kind of has, right? 1 touchdown. What's his rushing yards? Yeah, 41 already. I mean, pretty good.
He's by himself out there.
Right. Well, I mean, come on, he's throwing to McCole Harmon, Cooks, Dawson. Not. I mean, what do you expect? Honestly,
Not much, honestly.
it is a side note, but like, do you think AJ Brown's going to get traded, or I don't know if his contract's up, but like, I feel like that would be a fun spot.
I've seen the arguments, and my thing is, if AJ Brown wants out because he doesn't like the coach, you get rid of the coach. Like, I think the performance this year was bad enough that you can dismiss him and keep the all-star wide receiver. I don't know.
I Nick Sirianni is perfect for Philly, though. Honestly, like
I mean, he might have been last year. When Jason
they
Kelsey retired, they all went to shit.
yeah. I know the fans have a love hate relationship with him. Pretty insane kind of stuff there out of Philly. Let's jump into Miami versus OKC here. Miami, they're without Hawkes, they're without Mitchell. Jovic is now questionable. Tyler Hero is now questionable as well. And so at the start of the day, I was thinking, man, Powell and Wiggins are two pretty solid, just plug and plays right now. Going to be safe while also providing upside. If Ware were to get more minutes, we would love him, but it doesn't seem to be the case for him. Anyone that you love here? I mean, the issue is we have a bunch of other plays that are probably better given the matchup. Like this is a 10-point spread. And so that kind of makes me not want to be on Miami as much.
I was not going to be on him until I saw these value rankings in the model. So I have pieces of Bam, Wiggins, and Powell. I think it's okay if you want to get to Larson or Harrow too. Khalil Ware is basically out of the rotation, so I don't think they're anything more than sprinkles, though.
What about if Hero and Jovic route? Could Ware get more run or no?
The thing with Ware is it's like, why does Spoelstra hate him so much? It's so weird. And so this is like something beyond we can't project it. What's going to happen with Ware if other players are out? If he's in the starting lineup, then we can probably play him with a little bit more of confidence. But he played like 8 minutes the other night, didn't he?
I know. Yeah, I'll pull it up here real quick. His minutes have been like 16-8. The reason I asked is because I was looking at the per 36 production with with Mitchell and Hawkins off the court. He is the one that vastly benefits the most. And so I'm like, if he gets 25 minutes, like projection wise, I'm just going in on him. But yeah, 9 minutes, 16 minutes, 16 minutes, 17, and then 28. So last 4 games have been brutal.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah,
even if we're projecting garbage time, it's not something
true.
we can do. So
yeah, we'll jump into OKC here. The only one that's pulling chalk is SGA, and I think that's purely because of the value that we have in the slate. People are like, I need someone to pay up for. I'm just going to pay up for SGA.
Sounds right.
And then Chet's a little bit of ownership, but I don't even know if we need to get there that much. A little bit more appealing on FanDuel with the power forward eligibility. I've
been taking shots on Chet on most slates as long as he's under 8K. So I have like 3% now. Seems fine. Still not getting too much SGA though, which I kind of thought I was going to get more. Maybe I will after the first swap, since we'll have we should have a little bit of news by the time this game starts.
Yeah, I did just a dummy run prior to the live stream. I have about 26% of him. I'll be very interested to see if that goes up or down, honestly, after all the value that we have gotten now. We'll jump on into Minnesota versus San Antonio. So kind of interesting here with Minnesota. It was looking like Ant-Man might end up sitting, but now we have Rudy Gobert questionable, and then Shannon is still out. And so I will say, Edwards is a little bit appealing to me, not getting the best value rating or off index rating. So with him being active, sure, maybe be overweight on him. But other than that, the Minnesota plays are really not in play.
Yeah, I got just GPP shots. There was something about maybe if Rudy Gobert misses, did we get an update on him?
Let me see here. I'll try to read his status. So just listed as questionable due to a left hip contusion. So nope.
If he's out, Naz Reid's price seems pretty good. Julius would get a slight bump. There's got to be. I thought there was a backup center that we would be looking at.
Yeah. The Bellinger, whatever. I'll pull him up here. I always butcher his name. You're right. He would become a very solid GPP play because last game it was with Rudy Gobert out, but also Anthony Edwards is out. So I do think that has something to do with it. But yeah, you're right. They want to get him minutes. They want to find reasons to get him minutes. But yeah, he would be interesting. He would be very interesting.
Okay. Yeah, if that happens, we'll see what the model thinks. We could take a look at that, but it's going to be Julius. I think that gets the main boost out of anyone, and Naz Reid.
Definitely. This would just be a punt play and probably just a punt pivot off of some of the other chalk, the Indiana chalk. But it could be like we saw him get 30 minutes, which I was really shocked by the 30. I thought it'd be like 20. And he only produced 24 points, but he's someone that they do really like.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll jump on into the Spurs here. So the Spurs, I don't like much here. Castle is still questionable. And so maybe if he sits, we'd look at Fox a little bit more. I don't like much here. What about you?
I don't think I do either. They've been such an awkward team when their players are healthy. I don't know if their prices just need to kind of level out, but I guess I took some GPP shots on Wemby. I have about half the field. That's it.
Okay. And then we'll jump on into this next game, which is a little bit more appealing than the last two, I would say.
I just real quick, actually, before we move on from the Spurs, I do want to point out Champagny and Barnes are showing really strong value scores at very low ownership. So I think those are the two spots that we would target if we're trying to get pieces of the Spurs, Barnes and Champagny.
Yeah. And they are. I mean, Barnes is a little bit too cheap, and Champagny, yeah, I like that, especially if Castle sits.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll jump on into Charlotte versus Golden State here, guys. So I kind of like Charlotte a little bit. We do know that Diabe's out and Plumlee is still out. And so like Ryan Kalkbrenner seemed like he was going to be a great value. And I do think that this could end up still being a great spot to get to because of the ownership being low. Now, this is something maybe we caught during a refresh. I'll do that before we do the first build. I'll refresh it. But seemingly a great value still. And like it makes sense. Projected for 28 minutes. I'm not too worried about the matchup. And I don't know where you at with him because that kind of stands out to me.
I don't think I got much of this team either.
Okay.
Well, let me double check. Yeah, again, another team that just sprinkles. We have like such good chalk that you should be sprinkling, and all these guys I'm talking about are sprinkles. So like we're not targeting them necessarily, but these are all teams and players we want in our exposures. I feel like Kalkbrenner's value is a lie though. But at 44 and 4,200, I don't. It's harder. I mean, on DraftKings, I guess it's a little better, but his value score is higher on FanDuel. I really don't love getting to these kind of guys. I mean, he's pulling no ownership though, so I guess we could. It wouldn't be too bad.
I mean, who are you getting to instead? It's not like Grant Williams. I mean, not you, but like who would they get to instead? PJ Hall? Like, is he going to get some run tonight, or is it just they might go small because Golden State might just go small with Draymond Green at the 5?
I guess they could, yeah. Because even if someone does fill in for those minutes, no one really stands out for fantasy, right? Like 25 minutes of Grant Williams, even at 3,700, it's not great.
Interesting. All right. I think that's fair. I mean, I'll probably still get like 7% of Kalkbrenner at, just try to be double the field, but
might bump him up a couple then. I don't have much at all right now. Yeah,
I just see once again, like the model has been pretty good at those low owned values, and that's kind of just where I'm at. Again, it is due though to miss because it's been hitting too much lately. We'll jump into Golden State here. Curry is really the only one that's chalk, and again, I kind of think that, and Butler's a little bit chalk. I think that's mostly just there's a lot of salary left over, and so you need to find players to pay up for, and people are going with Curry. It's not a bad game total though as well. 237.5, still 1 point spread. So, I mean, it is a pretty appealing game in terms of that, and so I'm fine being kind of even weight with the field with Curry. Where are you at with him and with Curry and Butler?
Pretty sure I've been over on Steph pretty much like every slate. No, I'm actually not. He's kind of high owned today. I like him though. And I kind of like Jimmy. I don't know. Model's giving us Jimmy on DraftKings. Moses Moody actually is kind of a cool low-owned pivot. It's hard for me to have much else interest. Like I'm always going to have interest in Steph because of the ceiling, but his ownership is kind of there today, and we have other point guard options. So DeAnthony Melton, I'll mention, is someone that I'm pretty much always interested in getting over on, but his price is kind of coming up.
Yeah, I agree. And then we'll jump on in was the Washington-Denver games on the DraftKings main slate. Is Lakers-Portland on the FanDuel main slate?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do the DraftKings first, like build after this game, and then we'll jump into the Lakers versus Portland because obviously there's going to be a lot of plays in that game. But we'll jump into Washington versus Denver here, guys. 11.5 point spread in favor of Denver. About a 230 game total here. So 12.5 has jumped up to 12.5 now. Apologies. I will say I was kind of interested in getting overweight on Chris Middleton at the start of the day. He is a good DK value, projected to get about 25 minutes. I just don't know if we even need to get there. The reason why he's decent looking is because Koulibaly's out, Trae Young is still out. But I don't know if we necessarily need to get there. I was getting to Bub Carrington a little bit at the start of the day, and I don't know if we need to get there now.
I think I was on with Smitty earlier this week, and we mentioned Chris Middleton is going to be kind of interesting with CJ McCollum gone. He had a pretty okay game. I don't remember what he finished with. I know he started out strong, but at 2% ownership, models telling us we can take shots on Chris Middleton, even though he's only projected for 24.5 minutes. Yeah, that's a spot that I kind of like, but I think Trey Johnson is the other guy I'm looking at here. He's up to 5K now, but that he's only 2 and 1% owned. I think he deserves a little bit more ownership. Same with Bub Carrington. I don't know that he deserves more than 11 and 14, but I'm interested in him too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's worth sprinkling in there. I would say I do like Middleton the most. I'd probably be, I don't know what I'm at with him, but I might want to get more than him. I don't think I'm getting much, but I'm fine getting to like 10% of them. Like send that as like both a max and a min, just try to get 10. I'm getting literally the field with him. I'm getting 2%, which I want to get more than that.
I didn't even get the 2%, so I need to make some adjustments here because I am interested.
I will pull up his minutes from last game. He's projected for like 25 here. I thought he got 27. He did. So he got 27 minutes. Like, honestly, those 2 minutes could end up being the difference between him like really breaking the slate or just being a good value.
And I'll mention Keyshawn George and Alex Sarr. So Keyshawn, I have some interest in just because his price is pretty good. His minutes are projected pretty low, but he's the guy that I kind of want to be over the field on here. Alex Sarr is just a little expensive on FanDuel. On DraftKings, a 7,100 is a really good price. I would be interested there.
Mm-hmm. We'll jump into Denver here then. And for Denver, I believe so Murray's probable, Gordon's probable, and then it's looking like Pickett, Jones, and Watson will also be starting. And so with that, Jokic is out, Braun is out, Johnson's out, and J-Val is out. Jamal Murray, I honestly don't know what to do with him. It's a 12.5 point spread, projected to get 36 minutes. I feel like it's just correct, pretty chalky, should be chalky. I kind of worry about the chalk with Aaron Gordon. Where are you at with Denver?
I'm way under on Aaron Gordon. I've been pretty over on him. The model says he's a pretty good value though, so I might have to adjust that a little bit. But I'm with you on Jamal Murray. I have a ton of him. Models projecting him out as a pretty good value. The 13 OF index is good. The 13 value scores are fine since he's 10K. Ownership, yeah, it seems a little high, but actually I think it's probably appropriate on this slate. We have good enough value already to kind of play whatever payups we want, and Jamal does stand out as one of the better ones going against Washington.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable at least being even weight with the field on him. Like if anyone else is like maybe not liking him, I would just say be even weight with him if you don't want to be like overweight. Like I would say 40% would be kind of fine. Again, with the amount of value that we have, he's very easy to fit in.
What about what's your Peyton Watson exposure looking like?
So it's funny. The few handbills that I did this morning, he was in all of them.
Nice.
I don't think I'm getting. I am getting 8% of him right now. So basically even weight right now. So we'll see if that changes though. I think it will. I think it'll become much more studs and duds with lineups that are being generated just with the value that we have gotten. Like we had someone just say that Tyler Hero's out as well, and so that becomes interesting for some of the Miami plays.
Yeah, with so Peyton Watson, I mean, I think people are just nervous to play him because it's Peyton Watson, but his he has been unbelievable the past couple of weeks. And at 7,900, like this is a crazy price to pay for Peyton Watson, but he's been crushing this. His usage is so high. He's basically the second guy after Jamal here, even in front of Aaron Gordon right now. Maybe that changes more as Aaron Gordon keeps getting healthier from his injury, whatever. But I think Peyton Watson's a pretty good GPP play if the field doesn't really want to get there that much.
Did he get into foul trouble in his last? I mean, I know he had 5 fouls, but like, I'm wondering, was he just like less aggressive? I mean, he was fine. 18 points still, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Not too much other than that, and he did have 2 turnovers. So it's not like it was a terrible game. I'm just wondering, was he maybe less aggressive because he got into early foul trouble? I don't know.
Was that against Dallas?
That was against Dallas.
He had 2 fouls in the first quarter, but they let him play the whole time. He got his 3rd foul in the second quarter. He got his 4th foul by the end of the first half. And then he got his 5th foul 2 minutes into the third quarter. So I actually see that as a good thing, because that means even if he picks up 3 in the first half, he's going to stay on the court, which I think is correct. I don't think you bench guys in foul trouble because you're kind of just fouling them out yourself. But that's pretty good for his minutes.
That makes me want to be like triple the field his ownership right now. You saying that, because it does. I mean, it makes sense. Like all the other games, he's been a stud with. Mm-hmm. And like if we're playing Murray, we should play Watson based off of the same logic, pretty much. And so, yeah, I think that's someone we want to be overweight on.
Real quick, Tyler Herro is out. Nikola Jovic is in. And then power, just real quick, the minutes projection, OG we have for 34, Mikhail we have for 34. We have them exactly the same. I would be okay if you wanted to give him like 1 extra minute, maybe 2 extra minutes though.
Yeah, it's been a little bit here. Do you think these ownerships will go up, because they're not too high owned for New York?
McBride at 30%, that doesn't sound correct to me. I'd be kind of surprised if he came. Maybe he does. I'm not sure why he's projecting for that much ownership. Mm-hmm. And I would not be surprised if Cat came in higher owned. I could see Mikhail and OG kind of staying a little bit lower though, given like the cheap value we have. People might be going really stars and scrubs because we do have some good payups.
Yeah, Mitchell Robinson's still popping up as a pretty good value there. Let's take a quick peek at Miami, because we did get that news. We'll see if it's adjusting yet. A little bit more ownership, but not too much. Everyone's still pretty low owned. Larson popping up as a pretty good value, though. I mean, is he the best value on the DK main slate right? No, because we have a ton of value, but he's 4th.
I don't think we can give Pele the 31 minutes, but even if you took away like 3 minutes minus 10% from the value, that's still in the 17 range. That's still pretty strong. So Pele Larson, really good value play probably if he comes in low owned.
It is kind of crazy just sorting it by value right now, because I'm looking at him at 4%, Middleton at 2%, and even Trey Johnson, he's a little bit higher price, 1%, Kalkbrenner 1%. Like we have some cheaper value. They're a little bit more expensive than the Pacers value, but it's not that much more expensive to get a little bit more unique and gain some potential leverage. But let's jump into the first look build here. I like Furphy, but do you just want to play all 3 of the Pacers values in a lineup, or no?
For our dummy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, if you're watching at home, if you don't like one of them, then you can just pivot off of that guy.
Yep.
Norman Powell with Tyler Herro out. Amanda said in the chat, yeah, I think Norman Powell is probably going to look a little bit better today, especially with all these guys that look better when their teammates out right now. Whoever stays low owned today is probably who's going to have my highest interest.
I really want Ware to get confirmed in the starting lineup. I don't think that's going to happen though.
Dude, if Ware gets confirmed starting, that's going to be really bad for me because I'm going to end up playing a lot.
Right. And then, gotcha, guys. He's playing 15 minutes again.
He'd be too cheap if he ends up playing 25, 30 minutes.
He would be. Let's see here. So we're set by OF index now, and just to see like who the top plays are, SGA, Cade, Murray. I think we both like Murray. Are you fine putting him into a build?
Yeah, I would. Murray or Cade, I think, would be my first like big pay up in. Cade because he's the run back for the Indiana guys in case they keep it close. But Jamal looks great too against Washington.
Do you want to just play both of them?
Can we? Yeah, if we can fit in both. Can we fit in Cat still too with all the value we have?
Yeah, I think we'll try that. I'll go Cade first. Then we'll do SGA. And then I think we do Cat. So we both agree Cat's just a good pay up. I
think Cat's pretty good, yeah. Center only on DraftKings, which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we have 4.7 left over. Again, with the amount of value that we have, I mean, we're got too much salary left over, honestly. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and if we throw like Pele Larson in utility or he has small forward eligibility, we could throw Pele Larson in forward, and I bet we could get to one more. Like, can we get to like a Norman Powell? Or no?
Oh, okay. I mean, we could go a little cheaper. I mean, who was the other? There
It's
was
like
like
a
a
three.
3K play.
Yeah, who was
Shepard,
that? Oh, gross.
Shepard. Yeah, I know. There was another one that I kind of mentioned. Oh, I mean, we could get like again like Cam Jones or like Jackson, the other Jackson for Indiana. We could. I mean, I actually don't mind that getting into another Pacers play value wise, but
I'd be okay with it. Yeah, we have Cade in here, right? So Pacers
yep.
keep it within 15. Cade's on the court.
Let's see which pacer would it be here for the forwards. It doesn't really matter. It would be oh, that's ugly actually. It'd be Potter probably because if we had to go with the forward, it'd be Potter.
We're fading J Huff. I mean, I don't think Potter's a good play, but I could see it.
Let's just see what we're left with because if we can get to Paul, I think that matters. Okay, we probably could. I'll put Jones in there. I know you don't necessarily like it, but just I don't mind the idea of like punting to one of these two. He's min priced, and we could play Powell, and we were maxed out there. I mean, not terrible.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I like it. And it's not just necessarily Powell or whichever value play, just this structure of a build seems pretty good. And then what was SGA's price first, Jamal Murray?
Um,
$300.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I meant to. You're right. I meant to put Murray in there. You're right.
Oh, you're
Apologies.
good. I mean, well, it works with SGA, it works with Murray, right? And then maybe you have $300 if you want to swap out anyone else here. I really think it's okay if somehow you can find the courage to get off one of those Indiana guys.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. Like, good luck figuring it out. But there's going to be a value play on another team that ends up being pretty nice.
Or even on their team, like Ben Shepherd there potentially.
We've seen it. Yeah, I hate to say it, but we've seen it. We've seen Ben Shepherd do something in the NBA before. Most of the time, so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's jump into the fun game here. And my goodness, I don't even know where to start here because Portland's pretty banged up. Drew Holiday's probable now. Jeremy Grant's probable now, it seems like. But Avdia's out. Chris Murray's out. And so I'm actually surprised at kind of the lack of ownership that we're getting for Portland. But we already know there's a bunch of ownership elsewhere for FanDuel. So it does somewhat make sense. Like Drew Holiday, to me, if we knew he was going to get 30 minutes, would be just an absolute great play, but he's only projected for 24. Caleb Love is someone that benefits a decent amount with Avdia off the court, but he's kind of priced up. And then, I don't know, is Grant in play at all? Because, I mean, he's only projected for 25 minutes.
Did Grant, he's been out, right?
Yeah, and so let me see the report on him. He's probable. Nothing about a minutes limit. Thursday he played 23 minutes, and then I think that was it. Other than what we've seen from him lately.
You said we have Drew Holiday for 24. He played 21 in the last game, but that was without playing in the fourth quarter. They were getting blown out. So 24. I don't know that we could give him more. Maybe 26. I think they should think about starting him now, though. Like
Right?
Caleb Love's been fine, but you got to start Drew Holiday tonight with Denny Avdia out.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree, and I think that could be a decent leverage spot. The question is, do we even need to do that on the site? Because like we just saw in the DraftKings build, like you're probably paying up at point guard spot.
We don't have to. I'm going to bump him up a little bit, see if I get any. I was getting a few percent of Shade and Sharp. I'm always interested in Klingon, but it's disappointing that the model's not really telling us he's a super strong value today. Remember, like the model's been pretty on point with Donovan Klingon. I guess DeAndre Ayton is the Klingon stopper or something, but yeah, like you said, there's not much ownership here. I don't know that we have to force anyone in because I'm getting a decent amount of Lakers ownership.
Yeah, we'll jump into the Lakers and jump into DeAndre Ayton as well. I thought he'd be popping up more than he is. FanDuel wise, he is pretty chalky, and he is a decent value regardless. 13.9 best value on the slate. He is someone that does benefit a decent amount with Luka and Reeves off the court. Projected for 31 minutes. Where are you at with him?
I hate him. As a Lakers fan, he's the worst center we've had since, I won't even disrespect Kwame Brown. But fantasy-wise, he had one or two good games in a row. I think he's fine. The price is right, certainly. I would say Mark Williams is a decent pivot off if you want to get off of Aiden. The price is pretty similar, right?
Yeah.
But I'm playing Aiden. He's like my third highest exposed center right now on FanDuel, so the 5,800 price is good.
And then like Larivia and Smart getting some ownership is, it makes sense, but also like Smart doesn't really benefit with those two off the court for the most part. It mostly just goes to like LeBron, and that's why he's extreme chalk, 47%. Like he's too cheap. He just is. He should be able to go for 50 plus. The question is his ownership too high given the fact that we have those really good guard plays as well?
I think Smart and Laravia are both pretty poor plays at their ownership and price.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, they have a ceiling, but we have other guys who are just much more likely to give us the score that we need for the price. And it's if these guys were under 10%, then I'd say, yeah, we want to take shots on them, but their price is high enough that I don't know. I don't know. Someone has to step up. So maybe playing one of them. I don't think I'd have that much interest in playing lineups with like LeBron, Laravia, and Marcus Smart though,
No,
and
yeah.
certainly not with 8 and 2, all four of them. Maybe two out of those guys, and it could work. Smart and Laravia, just those two, but it's going to be a tough path getting there, I'd say.
Yeah. This is more of a showdown question, but any love for Dalton Connect?
Dalton Connect. Who is Dalton Connect? No, I'm just kidding. I don't think so.
Okay.
What's
You would
his?
know more
Well,
than me.
Well, I haven't looked at the showdown slate, so actually I couldn't even
Okay.
tell you without knowing what the
His
salaries are
price.
like. If he's like 1K, then he makes things work. There's not even enough payups though to really need Dalton Connect because I now see he's 1200 on showdown, but
Mhm.
there's not enough payups to for that to be necessary. So I would say if you think that he could have a good game, then sure, but
Okay.
not just for the salary savings.
Now, he's someone where, like, I don't typically play the late night showdown slate, but like there are occasions where I'll see someone that's like a clear cut value and like just a slate breaker is how I consider it. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that to see if I should submit a lineup with him. But all right. We'll jump into just final thoughts. We'll do another refresh here. Shout out to Power for giving us some NFL news during the live stream. Honestly, that's not a joke. Like Sam Darnold active, that's fun. And then Ricky Pearsall active. So no, here's the thing. He has played injured twice now through game. Like he got injured in the first quarter and then he played through it. So kind of fun for that game.
Yeah, I sure hope Ricky Pearsall catches a touchdown.
Is that what you're betting on, or you
Uh,
just
uh,
with the
I,
hat on?
I'm pretty sure I'm over the field on him in DFS. I wear the hat. I don't know that I'm necessarily rooting for San Francisco today because I like Seattle, but um, I mean Sam Darnold's playing, I guess. But I just saw something right before that Drew Lock was warming up, throwing passes to like Cooper Cup and whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
I came way down on my Sam Darnold and even my JSN exposure for NFL DFS. If you guys have late swaps to make, by the way, I'll be live tomorrow talking about the two gamer, and I'll go through late swap ideas if you played the 4 game slate for the whole weekend too for NFL. So that should be about 1 EST. I think the live stream will start.
Nice. Uh, just for what's worth, like I think Walker and Charbonnet are both much more valuable today with the Sam Darnold stuff too. Like,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
man, these ownerships here. Any final thoughts here for this slate at all?
Well, I just refreshed my FanDuel set, and yep, I'm still getting all the Pacers, a lot of LeBron. SGA came up. Yeah, SGA, Cade, and Jamal. I have all of them between 30 and 35%. And so
Yeah.
they all project out so similarly. Maybe if you're hand building and you have a player on the other team, you could use that as your tiebreaker, but they all project out really similarly. I'll say be careful with Anthony Simons. His role will be greater. I don't think he's going to start though. So maybe the ownership's a little bit too high. And then I'll just say be careful with J Huff too. But J Huff's a good
Yep.
play.
Yeah, at least definitely get your Pacers exposure. At least two, but max four. Like probably not over four.
I feel like I might play with the rule and see what it looks like if I do. Because if I do max three, it's just going to end up being a lot of Quentin Jackson, Juris Walker, and Johnny Furphy as the
Mhm.
three. And so I need to play with that and see what I want to do there. If I'm on DraftKings, I'm for sure setting. Well, I wouldn't say for sure. Max five Pacers on DraftKings. You could consider
Yep.
max four though.
Yeah, they're so interesting because it is a blowout, and so who the heck gets run in a blowout? We don't know, but that's kind of what makes it fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
Yeah.
that is going to do it for this live stream. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like on your guys' way out. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe as well. Thanks for watching.